Those of you who never heard me speak, is it okay just to give you a little background about myself so at least you know who's this Chinese guy on stage? What gives him the right? So I was a college dropout, age 19. I was never the academic type. I was far from it. I was the average kid in school. I used to tell my mom I get consistent grades. Consistently low grades. she didn't find that funny. You guys found that more funny. And I was that kid. And then what happened was a couple of years ago, I was asked to be a shark on Shark Tank. Some of you who are not familiar with Shark Tank, you may be familiar with Dragon's Den. So the US version is called Shark Tank. They took it out to Asia, and I was approached by the producer. They said, I want you to be basically a dragon on Dragon's Den. And I remember that moment, my jaw dropped, and I was like, what on earth? How? Which was really interesting thing. And throughout this whole journey, we built a lot of businesses in different sectors. We're not going to go into all of it because today's not about me. I don't want to be here standing talking about me all day long. Yo Noodle being one of them, quite significant part, a very challenging business for quite a few years of my life. But it was challenging, but I learned a lot from it because we actually closed 54 16K deals, so 54 franchise registrants within around 2.5 years. So it's quite fast. But don't clap yet because I haven't mentioned the other part. We had a lot of challenges. One shop closed, and then another shop closed, and this one closed, and a lot of different problems and a lot of challenges through the year. But I'll go into that when I teach some other strategies. And then finally, around 2 years ago, I said I've had enough of this. And then I got rid of the company. We sold the company. So that was really cool because I learned a lot about franchising. We had all the systems in place and everything, which allowed me to do a lot of the things I do and teach a lot of the things I teach today. Another one was UK Steel Corporation. This was a very significant part of my life because I was only around 24, 25, around that time, where we signed a deal. That deal was a $15 million deal. And that was in exporting rubber and steel, recycling. So that was really, I guess it wasn't really that fun. Tires aren't that fun. But we ship a lot. We had the license for 46,000 tons a year. So yeah, well, actually, there's three things if you want to know. There's three things we do with it. With tire, we strip it down. When you shred a tire down, we get paid a gate fee. So back then it was 80 pounds a ton. Now it's around 50 pounds a ton. So we collect from Halfords and Quick Fit all the tires. What we do is we use the Napier shredder, that big shredder there. It shreds it all down, and you get three products out of it. You get high tensile wire. So there's actually a steel in there. There's rubber, and there's fiber. The rubber can be used for TDF, which is tire-derived fuel. You put it into cement kilns, and it burns at a higher calorific value than coal. You're looking very confused. I don't know what that means either. I've said it enough times to be able to make myself sound a little bit intelligent now. So the rubber, you got the steel. The steel is a steel tire bead wire. You can take that and then you can melt it down into steel billets, and then they can be used for tools, making tools, right? And then you've got fiber, and fiber we used to crush them down into fiber briquettes, and then you can make it into loft insulation, wall insulation, that type of stuff. So what happens is it was a business where we get paid to collect rubbish, which was most of the money. Then we just shred it down, separate the parts, and then we get paid to, you get paid this side, give me a cha-ching. And we get paid this side, give me another cha-ching. How many of you like a business like that? Oh, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So we went through that, and that was an interesting business. So then following that, there was a very weird part of my life. Like, when I was doing this, by the way, I was still working in my restaurant every day because I didn't know what to do there. It was my business partner who ran it. It's 50-50 share. And so I was standing in my restaurant, and I had a station in my restaurant. So I had about 4 or 5. We had a small chain of 4 or 5 restaurants, and this was my station. It was the till. I was so ingrained in standing at the till. Why? Because my dad always told me to stand at the till. He said, Eric, you can't trust anybody else with your money. I said, so what do we do with all these restaurant businesses? So he said, that's why I asked your brother to quit school. He needs to look after the till in Hull. You look after the till in another city. And I said, Dad, but soon you're going to run out of kids, like running all these tills. I said, is there not another way? No, you can't trust other people with your money. I said, okay. So I used to stand at this till every single day. And while doing this thing on the side, I was kind of like, this is really cool. It's making me money. And then I was like, but Dad said I need to stand at the till. So I'm kind of like, okay. That was how I was taught, you know. And so I stood at this till every day. And it was a very interesting phase of my life because I remember I took one holiday out to Greece. I was with my 2 best friends at the time. And I remember sitting by the pool. And I said to my best friend, I said, Chen, I said, I don't actually know what I want to do with my life. And then he said to me, what do you mean? I said, like, days kind of just pass by, you know? It's like, everyone's looking at me, you guys are in university, everyone's looking at me and saying, Eric, you're so successful, you're so young and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm standing behind the till every single day. It's like the money's good. I can buy all the new cars, I can buy boats, I can buy houses and stuff. I said, but to be honest, I don't get life. And I remember till today, the exact words I said, I don't get life. I said, what do you mean, Eric? He was starting to get a bit concerned. And I said, I really don't get life. I remember on return of that of that holiday, I actually went back, and when I went back, I used to get into my Aston Martin at the time every morning, going to work. And I remember driving to work, and I would honestly say to whoever it was up there, please take me away. The reason behind that is because I didn't have the guts to do it myself. And I didn't know what to do. Dad told me making money was success. I get to this part, I'm making money, and I'm thinking, what is success? I kept saying that every single day. A friend of mine, her name's Lisa. Lisa said to me, Eric, come to Kenya on a volunteer trip with me. I said, no. She said, why? I said, why am I going to do that? I said, don't want to do that. Don't want to travel. Don't want to do anything. Didn't want to do anything. I went to my friends that evening, and I said to my friends, I said, Lisa asked me to go to Kenya. I said, why on earth would I go to Kenya? And then they said to me, Eric, don't go. I said, why? He said, it's really dangerous. I picked up my phone right there, and I called Lisa. I said, Lisa, I'm coming with you. That was how messed up my mind was at the time. First day in Kenya. We get into Kenya, see the kids, mud huts, nothing. No clothes, no nothing. And then I remember seeing them play. They were kicking this Coca-Cola can around. And that's quite ironic, really, because they'd have no food, no clothes, no education. They have Coca-Cola. That's branding for you, huh? They're kicking this Coca-Cola around, cheering. In the far distance, there's this lady watching them play, cheering by the mud hut. She's just cheering, she's watching them play. They're so excited. My first day set foot in Kenya, and I watched them play. I burst into tears. I said, what on earth is this? People say, Eric, you're very successful. I'm looking at these guys, I'm saying, it looks like you guys are more successful than me. What's going on? I started helping the kids because I could. Bought clothes, bought education, and started to create this whole center. It was a very interesting time, and this is where we built this whole charity. It's called H Giving. You can see all the stuff on hgiving.com. This was out in China. This is not Kenya, by the way. You're probably looking, Eric, I think you got the wrong color there. This is out in China, out in Thailand. This is our place out in Kenya. And we just built it over time. I go out every year. I'm going to be back out there in a few months' time. I don't know if any of you in this room are into volunteer trips and stuff like that. Anybody into that type of stuff? We got another trip coming up in a few months' time. I'm going to be there. We're there for a week. It's pretty cool, but you can check it all out on the Age Giving site. And we start building this thing, building bigger and bigger. And I came to one big thing, one big realization. And it was a very interesting realization because I was keep feeding, and then everywhere. Any Kenyans in the room, by the way? No? Not this time. We're in Western Kenya, a place called Bungoma on the border of Uganda. I went into the city around 100 kilometers away, around actually a few hundred kilometers away, and then they said, Mzungu, which they call us, they class us as white. They class me as white over there. White person. Imagine doing that here. I say, yes, that's me. Hello, I'm here. He said, can you support? I said, what? He said, you're that guy in Mount Elgon giving away money. I'm like, okay. He says, yeah, my kids need feeding as well. I was like, okay. And I was really fascinated because I was like, this news travels fast. We're like 300 kilometers away, and then I'm thinking, well, I really do want to help. Tell me your situation. So we're doing all this stuff, and then I was helping, giving money out. But I don't know, and by the way, I don't know if you're actually here today, but yesterday during the show, somebody wanted to do something to really help people who don't have the affordability and stuff. And when you want to build a business, and you want that business to help people who don't have the affordability, it's going to be a very hard business for you. And it's very interesting because a lot of people look at this thing today and they always say, Eric, I love your business stuff, but I love your charity stuff more. I want to do that charity thing. I said, I want you to understand one thing. If it wasn't for my business stuff, I wouldn't be able to do that charity stuff right now. I don't know if any of you in this room have ever tried fundraising before, right? I did a 100-mile walk. I raised £30. 20 pounds came from my mum. If I knew that was going to give me £30, I would have got it out of I wouldn't have walked the 100 miles. It's an interesting thing. When you're looking for fundraising, you go to people, oh, they say, oh, that's a great cause. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. But then when you go collect money, everyone disappears. You know what happened? You all blessed me and left me. You know, it's like, what's going on? And so when you get into this, and it's very interesting because I got into this, and I was out there, I was giving money out, and I found one thing. I had a very big income at that time, weekly income from all these different businesses. My outgoing was higher than my incoming. Because think about it this way, if I go here and I'm starting to give free money out here, do you think these guys will come along too? Of course, and I start giving money out, do you think these guys will come along? Of course they will. And then what I realized was this, that and this is a very big teaching that I got later on as well from my yogi master, who said that you can't help everyone, and you don't need to help everyone. That time, I was helping, and one day, things happened for a reason. A lady called Mary, she came up to me with her baby. I came to that decision that day, I can't help no more. Because if I keep helping, I'm going to drown. Who's going to help me? So Mary came with her baby. Malaria, 9 months. And she said to me, Eric, please assist. This was outside of our huts. And I said, what's wrong? She said, my baby's dying of malaria. Please, can you assist? And then I said, Mary, I said, I don't think I can help anymore. I think maybe we can find some help in the village. She went down onto her knees. She said, Eric, please can you assist? I said, Mary, I really don't think I can help anymore. I went into the hut in the middle of the night. I hear this big scream. So I remember going outside the hut, and then I just seen her there with her baby, and baby had passed away. I remember looking into her eyes. I was thinking, Eric, you think you can change lives? You think you're some hero or something? You think you can make a difference? You just let this baby die right in front of you. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I went from that moment, I said, you know what? This isn't going to work. I was doing all the wrong things in giving. I want to share this with you is because when it comes to giving, I want you to understand my idea of giving. If you feel aligned with that, then maybe we can go very far together. My idea of giving today, I would never give out money. Not just somebody, I need money, give them money. I don't think that helps. It doesn't help. You know, a lot of the time, and there's something that I realized was this, there's something called giving for self or giving for others. Most people, they think they're giving for others. They think, seriously, consciously they think they're giving for others, but in actual fact, they're giving for self. Because let me ask you a question. How many of you, when you contribute and you help other people, you feel good? Giving for self. Why? How do I know this? Because you know, in Kenya, what I found was we were building a lazy culture. If anybody's been out to any third world country like that before, you will see all they do, they will not work, by the way. I tried to pay somebody $400 to dig a hole for the toilet. They wouldn't do it. They said too much work. Instead, throughout the day, they came up to me. They said, Eric, can I have 20 cents? I said, you don't want 400 US dollars, you want 20 cents. They don't want work because they are used to, you, Westerners, give me money. Now, let me ask a question. You think that's their fault? Who built that culture? And why do we build that culture? It's because when we go over there, is it not true that when we buy a pair of shoes for them, we feel good? Yeah. This is what happened. Last volunteer trip, we went out there. One of the volunteers said, oh, seen a street kid, needs to buy him, oh, look at his feet, he's got no shoes, needs to go and buy him shoes. You think that's your good deed. You're doing yourself that good deed. And why I say that is because you don't know what happens afterwards. That kid gets beat up. Every kid goes and beats him up to steal the shoes. That's what happens. This kid's walked around all his life with bare feet. You think it's really, really cool. He's used to that. So we need to start understanding, actually, how do we really help them? And so when I started to look at that, I said, actually, giving out money like that, it's not sustainable, and I can't help them all. So I said, we need to form a charity, and we need to find other people to all go together to do this. And I said, we changed the whole idea of age giving. Age giving is not going to pay for people's clothes and food, and that's not the idea of it. We can do that. We set up a center. That's why a lot of people say to me today, they say, Eric, why don't you do it out in India? Why don't you do it out in China? I said, no, because I want to create this small center that we have. We want to create sustainability first, then we move on. And then they said, what do you mean? I said, every bit of money that we put out there, it's going towards education. I would pay all day long for a farmer to teach you how to farm. And then so our final project that we've been working on the last couple of years is we got another piece of land for vegetation, teach them how to grow the crops, take it out to the market, sell it, bring back the money, create a sustainable center. Because that, you can create lasting change. And so I said, that's what we're going. That's the way we're going forward. And so that's where we are at with age giving. But I want you to understand, in every single aspect, in business, with life, everything, I see the same thing these days. People always come out for free handouts. They always do. People always come to me, Eric, oh, I need some money. I said, what? Okay, here you go. What do you want? I need some money. Eric, I need to borrow money. I said, I don't lend money. What are you going to do with the money? Right? Eric, but you got plenty of it. Like, why does it matter? I don't lend money. You have something that you can take and then create something from it. Or education. I'd give education all day long. Because if I give you money, it's not going to make you rich. If I give you education, if I teach you the things we're going to teach you over this weekend, we're going to go into tomorrow a lot of different things. Visibility, positioning, closing deals, raising finance, finding the right network, collaborations, all of this stuff. Every single tool that I've used in my business, I'm going to just throw out there as much as I can tomorrow. Would that be cool? Yes. Because then you form your tool belt. You go out there, you rock it. You can rock it for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Yes. That's what I believe in. I believe in education. And so going forward from there, this thing happened. I was never going to be a speaker. Never, 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 never. I did the businesses, did the charity stuff. Then what actually happened was, it was actually the business show. Right? How many of you came from the business show again? Which was quite ironic because around 4 or 5 years ago or something, the business show reached out to me. They said, Eric, can you speak at our event? We've heard your story. It's absolutely amazing. I said, no. They said, why? I can't speak. 1 year later, they reached out to me again. They said, Eric, we've heard some great stuff about you, what you do and stuff. It would be very inspiring if you could come keynote. We've got James Caan here, so we would like you to headline with James Caan. I thought, James Caan? No. I said, why? It's James Caan. It'll be very good for your profile. I said, I don't need profile. I don't want people to see me. I was the shy boy from school. Then they asked again, some other PA called and asked again, and I accidentally said yes. It's kind of like a, yeah. They said, what? Yeah. I said, really? Yeah. 20-minute pitch, 20-minute speech. I learned for 3 months. 3 months, 20-minute speech. I can probably show you some bits of it this weekend if you're lucky, if we have time. It's ridiculous. It's very bad, very, very bad. I recited it all back to front, inside out. I was speaking it in my dreams. I still remember the lines today. Yeah. And I didn't write it. I got somebody else to write it because I'm dyslexic, and I thought it's going to sound really bad. So I was saying, the Eurozone crisis, plummeting exports, and universal austerity measures are bringing down the pound dramatically against other currency. I don't even know what that means, right? But that was my 20. I was like, it's quite funny because I finished this. I finished that speech. People thought, "Wow, very intellectual, this person." I finished my speech. Someone came up to me and said, "Eric, you know about the austerity measures and stuff?" I'm thinking, I don't know what that word means. I come up onto stage. I shake. I read. The thing I recited, I thought was going to just come out, but when I came onto stage, it gone. It just disappeared. So then I was like, okay, backup time. Then I thought, no, that's not looking too good. So I started reading. 20 minutes passed by, done. Came off stage, I thought, I'm never doing that shit again. Someone came up to me, said, Eric, can you speak at my event? I've got another event. I said, yes, accidentally. Oh shit, what happened? 1 year later, 72 events. That's the James Caan gig. Les Brown wrote a book. Further to that, then more events. That's a show out in Slovakia, out in India, out in Vietnam. All the Best You expos with all the big names out there. Another dragon. What's her name? I can't remember her name. Hillary, is it? Is it Hillary? You don't know. You're not very good at this now. No, so some dragon anyway. Yeah. Then the Richard Branson show. Following Richard Branson show. All this, yeah. Any Ghanaians in the room? You know who this is, yeah? It's your president, your new elected president. When he just got elected, then they asked me to go and put their entrepreneurship program together for their country to raise the economy. The president of Ghana reaches out to me, Noodle Boy, and says, can you put together something to raise our economy? I'm like, are you shitting me right now? This is their White House. There's a lot of security checks. We sneaked this photo in. Then the whole Shark Tank, they asked me to be a shark on Shark Tank, and everything else, there's investments then from it. These are the babies we throw in the water. Sia Howard show, Paris Fashion Week. There's me walking the runway in Vogue magazine. My mum was so proud. She said, "What are you doing in Vogue magazine?" "I don't know, Mum." They just told me to walk.